They laughed when she walked in. Not out loud, not at first, but the kind of laughter that lives behind narrowed eyes and half smiles. The kind that says you don't belong here anymore. Her boots were scuffed. Her shoulders carried a quiet wariness, and her file had been stamped with a word no soldier ever recovers from. Obsolete. But none of them noticed the small emblem stitched inside her sleeve. None of them, except the general. The one man whose blood ran cold the moment he saw it. Because that emblem wasn't supposed to exist. And the woman wearing it was supposed to be dead. They used to chant her name during training runs. Now they whispered it like a cautionary tale. Captain Aira Kane stood alone at the far end of the evaluation hall, fluorescent lights humming above her like indifferent witnesses. Around her, younger soldiers stretched, joked, adjusted pristine gear. They were faster, sharper, untouched by war in the way only the untested can be. Their glances slid past her, or lingered just long enough to judge. Washed up. Someone muttered, not bothering to lower their voice. Aira pretended not to hear. She had learned that skill years ago, somewhere between the desert and the mountains, between extraction zones, that never came in radio calls, that went silent. She focused instead on the rhythm of her breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. The same way she had done while bleeding in the dark, waiting for orders that would never arrive. Her record didn't look good on paper. Too many gaps, too many redactions, a career that seemed to rise brilliantly and then vanish into classified nothingness. Promotions stalled, commendations sealed, injuries explained away as training accidents. To the board, she looked like a soldier who peaked early and broke late. What the file didn't say was how many lives she had carried out of impossible places. Or how many decisions she had made when there was no right answer. Only less death. The evaluation was supposed to be routine. One last chance, they told her. Prove you still belong. Fail, and you're done. When her turn came, the room felt smaller. She ran the obstacle course slower than she used to, but cleaner. No wasted motion. No panic. Every step deliberate. Every climb efficient. She shot with calm precision, not flashy, not perfect. Just lethal in the way that mattered. Still, the murmurs continued. She's cautious. She hesitates. She doesn't have the edge anymore. Aira didn't respond. She knew what they were really saying. She survived too much. Survival makes people uncomfortable. It reminds them that strength isn't loud, it's enduring. After the drills, they gathered for debrief. The general entered without ceremony, silver-haired, eyes sharp enough to peel back lies. General Marcus Hale had a reputation for seeing what others missed, and for ending careers with a sentence. As he moved down the line, his gaze passed over faces, ranks, potential futures. When he reached Aira, his eyes paused. Not on her posture, not on her face, on her sleeve. The moment was brief, almost nothing. But Aira felt it, the subtle shift in the air. The way a predator stills when it recognizes another. The general said nothing. He moved on. Around her, the room exhaled. The verdict seemed clear. She was just another soldier fading out. Aira lowered her eyes, hiding the emblem stitched on the inside seam of her uniform. The one she never removed. The one that had cost her everything. She didn't know yet that the past she had buried was about to stand up and speak her name. The summons came at night. No explanation. No delay. Just an order to report to the restricted wing. The one that didn't appear on any map. Aira walked the corridor alone, boots echoing softly, heart steady in a way it hadn't been in years. She recognized this feeling. The calm before truth. The moment before everything changes. The door opened with a retinal scan she didn't remember authorizing. Inside, the lights were dim. The general stood by the window, hands clasped behind his back. He didn't turn when she entered. Do you know, he said quietly, how many people in this world have seen that emblem and lived? Aira swallowed. No, sir. Neither do I, he replied. Because officially it never existed. He turned then, holding a faded dossier. Her real one, the one she had never been allowed to read. That emblem belongs to a unit erased from history. He continued, A unit deployed where deniability mattered more than survival. Everyone assigned to it was listed as killed in action, including you. Aira met his gaze. No fear, just tired honesty. I wasn't done. For a long moment, the general said nothing. Then his voice softened. I was there, he said, the night your unit disappeared. I signed the order that left you behind. The words hit harder than any bullet. Years of silence, of being unseen, suddenly had a face. You completed the mission anyway. He went on. You brought out civilians we didn't even know were alive, and when extraction never came, you still got them home. Aira's voice was barely audible. Someone had to. The general nodded slowly, a man carrying the weight of choices that never stop echoing. They called you washed up, he said, because it was easier than admitting we buried one of our best. He stepped forward and extended his hand, not in command, but in respect. We need you, he said, not for your speed, not for your youth, but for what you carry. Aira felt something shift inside her, not pride, not revenge, resolution. She had never needed recognition. She had only needed truth. When she walked out of that room, she was no longer invisible. The emblem on her sleeve remained hidden, but its meaning no longer was. They watched her differently after that. Not because she was louder or faster, but because she stood taller, a soldier reclaimed. And somewhere deep inside the machine of war, a quiet message moved through the ranks. Never underestimate the ones who survived what you couldn't see. Because sometimes, the strongest soldiers aren't the ones who shine the brightest. They're the ones who are willing to disappear and still come back standing. Inspirational message OCNG. Not every hero is celebrated. Not every sacrifice is recorded. But time has a way of revealing truth, and when it does, it reminds us that endurance is not weakness, silence is not failure, and being underestimated is often the beginning of legacy.